The Skyrover S1 and X1 are very similar, so how do you know which one to get? And there's a small twist at the end, so let's talk about it. So the S1 and the X1 are essentially the same size. The X1 is a little bit smaller, and both are very lightweight drones at under 250 grams, which is a little bit over a half a pound. In terms of camera sensors, we're looking at a 48 megapixel half-inch f2.8 sensor on the S1 and a 48 megapixel 1/1.32 inches f1.7 aperture on the X1. So you're getting a larger sensor for even better image quality, and you're getting more light to the sensor on the X1 for better low light performance. Both drones can shoot HDR video at up to 4K 60, which is plenty of resolution, but if you want slow motion, the X1 can go up to 4K 100 FPS, which lets you slow things down even more. If you want slow motion at a lower resolution, the S1 can shoot 1080p at 120 frames per second, and the X1 can go all the way up to 1080p 200 frames per second. The X1 also allows you to rotate the camera to film vertical content at full resolution instead of having to crop into the horizontal image, which is what you have to do on the S1. Both drones have some great intelligent shooting modes, and at the same time, there are some super important differences when it comes to safety. Now, whenever I talk to people about flying drones, I always bring up obstacle avoidance. I'm very careful when I pilot a drone, and at the same time, there are situations where the drone is pretty far away from me, and if I'm flying around a building or a tree, I don't always have the best depth perception. So the Skyrover S1 has obstacle avoidance going forward, and you also have downward-facing sensors to protect you from anything that's below the drone and let you know how high off the ground you are. The Skyrover X1 has 4 fisheye vision sensors, so 2 are facing forward and 2 are facing backwards. Plus, there are 2 sensors on the bottom, so you're getting obstacle avoidance in every direction. And I actually purposely tried to hit some trees with it, flying forwards and backwards, and it never happened. You can tell the S1 to brake when it sees an obstacle, or you can turn this feature off. With the X1, you can tell the drone to either stop or bypass the object, and then of course you can also turn this feature off. There's also an on-screen display that shows you the distance to any close object, which is super helpful. Now in both cases, I would always keep the obstacle avoidance on, and this is an area where I'm definitely going to give the edge to the X1 because I never worry about hitting anything. Now, speaking of the drones being far away from me at certain times, both drones use a transmission system called SkyBridge. The live view that you see on your device is 1080p 60, which is plenty. The S1 is rated for up to 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles, and the X1 is rated for up to 15 kilometers or over 9 miles. The strength of this connection is super important because if you lose transmission, if you can't see what the camera sees and the drone is out of view, it's going to be pretty much impossible to fly it back. Now, while the X1 has a higher rating, I never really fly either one of them that far away from me, so it doesn't really translate into a practical advantage. And this brings me to another safety feature, which is return to home. That means that if for some reason you're not able to navigate the drone yourself, or if the battery gets too low, you can just press a button and then both drones will go up to the height that you have in settings and then fly back to the original takeoff spot. And since both drones have this feature, I'm going to call it a tie. Now, a lot of my content is horizontal, but I've been making more and more short form content on YouTube and other platforms, which means that sometimes I have to take my footage and then crop it. Now, the X1 has a vertical shooting mode where the camera rotates on the gimbal, so I actually get to use the full resolution. This also means that I can zoom into that image without losing quality. And since you can rotate the camera, if you want even more slow motion, you can shoot at 1080p 200 and then really slow things down. The S1 can shoot 2.7K vertical video by cropping into the sensor, so I'm going to give this round to the X1. Now, setup was super easy with both. Before you start, definitely unbox either drone at home and then charge your battery and the controller, now both with a USB-C cable. If you only have one battery, just pop it right into the drone and you can plug the USB-C cable into the drone. If you got the bundle that I'm going to tell you about later, then you can charge all 3 batteries in the charger with one cable. I also recommend that you download the Skyrover app and then activate your drone while you're still at home in case there are any firmware updates. It's also a good idea to get a landing pad in case you need to take off from a beach or a wet surface.
All right, so once you're ready to go, grab the drone, remove the camera and gimbal cover, put that away. Go ahead and extend the arms. And then you're going to want to take off from a flat surface. There's a button on the back here. You want to press it once and then press and hold. And then you'll see propellers move and the drone will make a noise. Now you know that it's ready to go. So now we're going to go ahead and grab the remote. So there's a little cable over here. Boom. And just pop it in there like that. Siri always wants to play. We're not interested. And then you're going to go ahead and start the Skyrover app. To turn the remote on, we're going to do the same thing. One press and then press and hold. The lights fill up. And you'll know that it's connected because that's going to happen. You're going to see the name of your drone right here. And now to start flying, you just click start flying and you're going to see that it's already connected and you can see what the camera is seeing. Up here on the top right, you're going to see the number of satellites that it's connected to. We have plenty at 21. If we don't have enough, right here where it says takeoff permitted, it will actually say something like do not take off. There'll be an orange warning over there. There's a map over here so you can see exactly where you are. To take off, all you need to do is press this button. This will come up and then you just press and hold and the drone will take off. Now this remote is set to mode 2. Let me move the drone away from you a little bit. But this remote is set to mode 2, which means that the stick on the right moves the drone forward and backwards and then left and right, and then the stick on the left side will move the drone up and down, or it will make the drone rotate left or rotate right. To switch modes, you press on the right side. Right now we're on video. You can see we're 4K 60 on the bottom, and I'm just going to hit record and we're good to go.
Now, the flying experience has been great, and both drones are super stable. Even when flying by the lake or in other windy conditions, I had no issues. In both cases, I was using the Fly More bundle that comes with a carrying case, a charger, and 3 batteries, and that you can charge all 3 batteries in the charger with a single USB-C cable. Now, each S1 battery is rated for 40 minutes versus 32 minutes on the X1. So when we look at the Fly More combo, we're getting 120 minutes on the S1 versus 96 minutes on the X1. So this is a win for the S1. Now, by the way, take it from me, always bring more than one battery if you can. Whether you're looking at a 32 or 40-minute rating, you're getting a lot, but it's always better to have at least one spare. And I've said it in other videos, but you don't want to miss a shot because you ran out of battery power and you either have to sit there and charge your one battery or you have to leave and then come back to the same location. Now, another super handy feature to have with a drone is tracking, and this is only available with the X1. So the drone would either auto detect items that it recognizes and then put put a little green plus next to them, or I could just draw a square around the object and the tracking would work great. There are a couple of modes here. You can either spotlight something so the drone stays right where it is and then follows the object from that one perspective. It was actually pretty cool to see that it was able to keep track of the car even when it was going behind trees. You can have the drone follow the car and then stay in the same position the whole way. And I love having the confidence that I have full obstacle avoidance while the car is being tracked. You can even have the drone orbit around an object as it's following it, which kind of gives a unique perspective. Now I'm saying a car, but that's just an example. I also jumped on a scooter to see if it would be able to keep up, and it was able to follow me without a problem. And this type of automated feature allows me to get shots that I would never be able to get on my own. So this is a win for the X1. Now I started flying drones over 8 years ago, and I love controlling the drones manually, but there are also times where I want to automate some shots. And both the S1 and the X1 have a ton of intelligent flying modes. The one that I use the most is the ability to orbit an object. The drone either auto detects it, or again, you draw a square around it, you position the drone where you want, and then you choose the direction and the speed. The drone does all the work for you. This would be very difficult to do manually because you have to keep the same distance from the subject, you have to keep the same speed going sideways, and then rotate the drone at the perfect pace to keep something centered while you're panning. So it's much better to just let the drone do the work for you. A couple of other examples are a droney, where the drone flies up and then away to reveal more of the scene, and rocket, where the drone flies straight up but then tilts the camera down to keep the subject in frame. There are even more available and they are super easy to use, so in this case I would call it a tie. Now something else to consider whenever you're looking at any product that uses a camera is low light performance. As I mentioned at the beginning, the X1 has a larger sensor at a little over 3/4 of an inch versus 1/2 inch on the S1. It also has a wider aperture, which lets in more light, and a higher ISO range, so I would give it the edge in terms of low light performance. The X1 also has a dedicated night mode for when it's really dark out, which is a nice feature to have. Now, of course, if you're just looking at price, the S1 by design is a more affordable option. So if you're shopping on a budget, I'm going to give the edge to the S1. Now, overall, I love how small and portable both drones are. They fold down into practically nothing, and both are great options when I travel or for my day in the life video. So how do you actually choose? And here comes a little twist. If you're just starting out and you're not sure whether you're gonna like flying drones, if you're more of a casual user but still want good image quality, outstanding battery life, and a more affordable price, go ahead and get the Skyrover S1. If you're a creator, a vlogger, someone who wants better image quality, all the tracking features, a dedicated night mode, the ability to shoot slow motion and vertical shooting without a crop, go ahead and get the Skyrover X1. But here's the thing, I would still tell a beginner that if the X1 is in their price range, it's worth it because of the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. I would probably say that if you're a beginner, those features are even more important because you are inexperienced. You're not really sure what you're doing. You're just learning. So having all those additional sensors and safety features is more likely to save you. And at the same time, for more advanced operators, it gives you the peace of mind to try even more complex maneuvers. And whichever drone you get, make sure that you get the bundle with 3 batteries, the charger, and the bag. I put links in the description to both drones and the Fly More combos, and these links will be updated with the best prices. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.